Okay. Well, I think this is us. We are ready to go. We are recording. All right.
Guys, Stranger Things came out. Should we discuss it?
I do want to discuss Stranger Things, but can I just get something off my chest
Yes.
about
What
like
grinds your gears, Luke?
this grinds my gears. Okay, so
Well, if you're playing the drinking game, drink first tangent of the day. We've not even introduced ourselves and we're on it, but go Leech.
fair enough.
And now you screw up everything. What is it?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm just gonna say my spiel. Okay, I need to get this off my
You
chest.
go Lego.
So, as we all know, as I announced a number of podcasts ago,
Yep.
another episodes ago, Lego and Star Trek have finally merged, and they've released their latest set, which is the USS Enterprise set NCC 1701-D, which is the Star Trek Enterprise ship from the Next Generation. It was released on Thanksgiving at midnight.
Nerd.
And they had, if you did not like go to a store and you could do like the online like ordering, it was like Comic-Con. You logged on at midnight and then they put you in a virtual queue forever. And it was that same moment. I'm sitting there. Literally, I stayed up to midnight, which is way past my bedtime. Steph fell asleep. I woke her up about 5 minutes before midnight to say, hey, can you jump on? Because we have to do this virtual queue thing. And it took like 15 minutes. And I'm sitting there just being like, I'm not going to get this set. I am not going to get the set. And I'm going to cry. Ended up getting the set. She got in before me, even though I logged in first, but whatever. And we ended up getting the set, which is fine. But this is, I don't know of any other time that Lego has done this type of thing. And maybe they knew that all the nerds are going to come out of their basements and want to jump on and get the Star Trek Lego set. That may be the reason why. But I just want to say it upset me because it brought back all of those anxiety feelings of waiting to get tickets for Comic-Con. And I just didn't want to have that feeling when all I'm trying to do is spend $400 on a Lego set. That's it. I just wanted to get that out there. It upset me, but I'm happy because the set should be coming on Thursday, so I'll be able to play with it. And by play with it, I mean build it on the weekend, but also play with it. And I'm excited. Anyway.
You did great at it. That's the key to it. But I get edge frustration. Like, why change the system? Why not just make
why change the system? Because with the Rivendell set, when Lord of the Rings came out, again, another big nerd IP, you could pre-order it. And so that they knew that they had to have enough. Same thing with the Black Pearl set that they released not that long ago. You could pre-order that. Every other one you could pre-order for whatever freaking reason. It is like, you know what? No. Let's make everybody panic at midnight.
I mean,
on the day before Thanksgiving to get this set.
We know. We worked at Blockbuster long enough to know that Nintendo built its business around this model. Release a console.
As did FIFA.
Yeah. Release a console and not have enough copies of it or enough of the console available while we've got warehouses full of them, but we drip feed the market, which keeps the price up, but also keeps the interest up and generates all of that. So it might well be that Lego have just gone, hey, it works for Nintendo. Let's give it a shot. Let's give it
Yeah, and that's definitely what they did. The other thing that they had is as a free gift, when you bought, if you were able to get the set, they had a limited quantity of the little NCC shuttle ship, which is like a separate little set for like $400, 400 pieces. And they only had a limited quantity of those. I think they only were making like, I don't know, like a couple thousand. And thankfully, I ended up, well, I will have gotten when I got that guaranteed. But like that's one set that they've already said they're never going to make again. So that is probably going to sit on my shelf somewhere, shrink wrapped for that time when it's like, I want something else really bad. Let me sell.
Oh no, a tree's fallen through my roof. Where's that Lego set that I can sell and pay for a brand new roof?
Exactly. Thank you, insurance. I hope it doesn't do that because I replaced my roof last year. But anyway.
Anyway,
okay. That's I had to get that off.
First tangent out of the way. Welcome to episode 18 of Not Quite Nerds. I'm Matt.
I'm Luch.
And I'm Mallory.
And now we've got Leech's rant out of the way, I will say, spoilers in advance, if you have not finished the first 4 episodes of Stranger Things Season 5, this is not the episode for you. Please go away, finish those episodes and come back. If you don't care about Stranger Things, have a listen anyway. And please remember to like, subscribe, and comment and review and do all those things that can help us.
Share with your
Luch's-
friends.
Yeah, share with
Click
friends.
that bell on YouTube.
Yeah,
that
because it's really important. Luch continues to spend all of his money on Lego. So, this is what this podcast funds, Luch's Lego addiction. What we're looking to do. So, Stranger Things.
Now you make a request.
You cannot.
Can we try to the best of our abilities, keeping our comments in order? Like episode 1, then episode 2, episode 3.
Okay. I think we can try to do that.
In episode 4, because I think what we all want to talk about the most should be the last thing we talk about.
I agree. I agree.
I will agree to that.
Knowing that we all go off on tangents.
Yeah. I mean, let's start with the amazing amount of 80s references.
So good.
So much Back to the Future, guys. It means that. Love it.
We get an amazing cast member who we mentioned as almost a idol figure in last week's episode, where we were reviewing Nancy's progression. We said, I believe it was you, Luke, said Sarah Connor-esque. And lo and behold, episode 1, he kept up. You see the back of her head, and I was like, no.
Yeah. I got really excited when I saw, because you saw her you saw Linda Hamilton in the trailer that they released.
I never saw any trailers.
So
Like Mallory, I watched something briefly on my phone, and then I've avoided anything to do with it, any news, any casting news, because I was like, that's what they're going to do. They're going to drip feed these amazing pieces of thing in the pop culture. So I avoided it. So I was so happy to see that.
Yeah, so I knew that Linda Hamilton was going to be in it. I didn't fully understand what her role was going to be. I figured military or something along those lines, and that obviously, as we all know, was accurate. But when I saw her name come up on the opening credits, I was like, yes, Sarah Connor is here.
Yeah.
And then Nancy totally turned into Sarah Connor, like coming up with the point. Just great.
Yeah. And I mean, there's just so many great things there. Can I just throw out there, though, first episode, they start talking about the crawls. They talk about how they crawl into the upside down and what they're doing there. And this will be crawl number
37.
Was it just me picked that up first?
No, it was
I looked through. I was like 37 crawls. Brilliant.
I was like, of course it is. Of course it's 37 crawls.
So you have to be.
Any less than that or more than that would just have been wrong.
It would have. But it's something that jumped
What
out.
I appreciated about the crawl and what we saw in episode 1 is what we were talking about last week about how normally they all kind of go off and do their own thing and they're all doing the same thing just separately. Yeah. And from the jump, like this season, they're all literally working together. To the point where they have a code on a radio, and then Nancy then has her plan, and Hop and Joyce are doing their thing, and the boys are doing their thing, but it's all for one plan, and it's the first time we've seen them work together.
It's all connected, but yet still separate teams of people.
Yeah.
Like you still have your groups going off and doing different things, but they're all actually working for the same goal altogether. For a change, to your point, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, they all know the code Rockin' Robin on the radio with their code Steve as her sidekick now. Thought that was quite an interesting swing.
I feel like that's been his shtick though, because even at Scoops Ahoy, he was still kind of like her bitch to a certain degree. Like she was making fun of him with hitting on girls and not succeeding. Like it was very much like that playful banter back and forth between them. So it's cool to see that continuing on. I think that was a fun thing.
And can we address, how Robin's girlfriend is entirely Molly Ringwald?
Oh yeah.
All those
no, I said the same thing.
You're like,
I was like, she is Molly Ringwald. She is from 16 Candles. She literally just got plopped into Hawkins.
Yeah, I mean, the casting call must have been Molly Ringwald. or as close as you can possibly get. It just
I love that he caught them. Like he needed that like gay idol.
yes, yeah, that was such a cool moment for him to have that
It
moment
was.
where he was just like, "Oh my god, it's not just me." Thought that was a sweet moment for him, a very sweet moment. And we address the biggest plot hole so far. How do the military not know about all of the tunnels underneath?
You
I
know what?
also forgot about the tunnels. I had to look it up to be like, where did these come from? Have they spent the last year and a half building them? But no, it comes up in season 2 where
Yep.
where Hop realizes it
Yep.
all exists.
Digging in the field of pumpkins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're just dumb. I mean, as I think we learn in the later episodes, this military is just dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, the military is definitely dumb. I clocked two things, and I don't know. I'm hoping it's episode 1. If it's not, I'm going to apologize up front. Two things that I noticed. Number one, the colonel from season 4, who was kind of chasing after 11. For the entirety of that, I mean, they made it seem like he was the guy leading the charge. But what this season has showed us, or at least this, first episode and so on, is that he's not the big baddie in charge. It is Sarah Connor, aka Dr. K.
Dr. K.
He was that colonel is more like her war dog. While she's kind of like pulling all the strings from the upside down military base.
Yeah.
Who builds a military base in the upside down?
I suppose
The other,
like they were trying to study. The Russians were trying to study the upside down, and they brought the stuff through. I suppose it makes sense that if you're going to do it there. Go into the upside down and study it. It would be dangerous. Yeah, but it's what anthropologists do. They discover a new island. They go there. They study the island from the island. They don't, study it from far away. So it makes sense that would be the natural progression.
I have no problem with the base being in the upside down. My problem is that from season 1, we've been talking, or whenever someone's gone to the upside down, there's those dust particles that appear.
Yeah.
And when they had Hawkins' lab, they made sure that before Hopper and Joyce went in to go try to find Will, that they put on this gear with an oxygen mask and stuff like that, because the air is toxic. And then you run around this base. Now, okay, you're inside the base. Maybe there's air filtration inside those glass structures. Okay, cool. But then later on in the season, you're seeing all these military guys who are just patrolling the base, just out there. No mask, no nothing.
I think that goes to show how much they've learned about the upside down. Because I think they were in those hazmat suits because they really didn't know what it was. And it's obvious that they've now been studying it. They understand it more. I think they realize that it's really not, unsafe to be breathing in. So I think it's more of a progression of their knowledge.
Yeah, but see, Hopper still puts on the mask even in seasons 2 and 3 when he ends up in the tunnels.
He has to put on the mask during the crawl.
Rules opinion mask in 5. You're right. He hasn't put on the mask during the crawl. So yeah, maybe you're right. But that would have been cool to have, because like that took me out of it a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. When I'm seeing them running around, yeah, that was my dark nipple. Exactly. I think that's a perfect thing for what takes you out of it. I think that's definitely got to be our new calling card. But that was the dark nipple for me throughout the entire 4 episodes. Was, can someone just address if you can breathe there and not get sick or not?
Yeah, like trying to figure out.
And they didn't address it. Maybe they will. Who knows?
But it's the biggest issue with all sorts of sci-fi and anything like that is you've got to have rules, and those rules, if they change, they need to be shown to be for a reason, and address it, and they're not.
I no problem if there's a change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Can we talk about Dustin?
My heart breaks for Dustin.
Like, he's just doing what Eddie asked him to do. Eddie said, keep it alive, keeping you, never change. And he's just out there, not changing, keeping it alive, being him.
No, but I disagree. He has changed. He's a lot harder now. He's a lot more cynical now. He's not that happy-go-lucky Dustin character who he's almost cockier and angrier now. And I can understand it because obviously Eddie was a great good friend of his. Everyone doesn't know all the things that he did. He obviously was wrongly accused of a lot of stuff, and he's the only one that knows it, other than the main crew.
Mhm.
But he has changed. He's not that Dustin character anymore.
He's been affected by it, but I mean, he's still
Yes.
he's this D&D loving. I'm sticking to who I am as a core of a person. I'm good, and I'm going to keep the Hellfire Club going. Yes, he is being antagonistic, and he understands that he's being antagonistic. But that's what he's trying to do. And I think when he is it in episode 1, he puts the snake in the locker. Like, I'm late. Yeah. I mean, that's a deliberate move. And that's a Dustin.
Oh, 100%. If he's asking for it.
Yeah. I do think I see what you're saying, but I mean, he's been through so much. And as you said, I think he's really traumatized by the fact that he knows that Eddie died a hero. And he, the last thing he says in season 4 is he sits down with Eddie's uncle and tells him, I was there and he's a hero. He saved everybody's lives. That moment, and nobody else knows it and nobody else believes it. So he's just trying to honor Eddie in that way.
No, you're 100% right.
He is becoming Eddie. His hair is Eddie. The rings on his fingers are Eddie. He's growing into being Eddie. But he's clever in it.
He is really trying to carry on that Eddie the Freak name and keep his memory alive, even if it's just his own memory of Eddie. Yeah. And maybe, obviously you can throw Mike and Lucas and some of the other guys into it as well. Even Nancy and Steve, and Robin, who were there with him, at when they went back into the Upside Down in season 4.
But I mean, it's representative as well of current society, where it's like, oh, you believe in this, so you must be a devil worshipper, or you're wrong for believing in this. And we know that D&D, like, you look at the creatives in the world, the filmmakers, the people making the greatest things, they all played D&D, they all told stories, and they all learned to tell stories that way. And yet in the 80s, they were the devil worshippers. It was getting the devil.
You're 100% right.
So it's that element of it as well, where he's just like, well, if that's who you think I'm going to be, that's who I'm going to be. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, he's essentially steering to the skid, almost.
Yeah.
And, to the point of physical detriment, which I'm not sure if it happens in episode 1 or episode 2. I want to say it's 2. With the fight at the cemetery.
No, it's 1.
It's 1.
It is 1.
It's near the end of 1, and then he reappears.
Near the end of 1.
Right.
But then he misses the crawl.
Yeah.
He misses the crawl.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have to say, though, Dustin threw down a little bit.
He did.
I thought he died. I would have said they were going to kill him.
No, I know. So did I. He got some shots in, though. I mean, 4-on-1. I mean, he got some shots in, and not just because he sprayed them with paint remover.
I felt the same thing.
Yeah.
I felt he put a good account of himself in there.
Yeah.
And
I was saying to Steph, I'm like, if there was just 3 of them, he may have taken them.
He might have. You're right. So yes, and what do we get from Will in episode 1? I think we start to get this idea that Will's still attached somehow, don't we?
Well, yeah, we start to get the idea that Will's still attached, and we also start to see him actually stand up for himself a little bit.
Yeah.
Or is that season? Or is that episode?
So what happens is, you're right, because at the end of the episode, we see Will telepathically witness the attack. So he understands what's happening with it. Then we go and heads towards the Wheeler residence, which leads us perfectly into episode 2.
Yeah, the vanishing of Holly Wheeler.
What an episode!
Different actress.
Oh yeah.
They recast Holly.
They screwed up Holly Wheeler. So if you follow her timeline from season 1, she should only be 7 years old.
Yeah,
I know.
But yet in the season, she's actually supposed to be 10 years old. But the actress is 14 years old.
Yeah. There's way too much going on there. She's a very good actress.
She's very
one quite through there. And oh, she. There you go. That's why she's a good actress. No, she's a very good actress, but it is one of those things where you look at it and you're like, I'm confused. Everybody else has grown a year, so we can see 3 physically. I mean, when Max reappears, that's the one we'll talk about when we get there. But when that happens, you're just like, Jesus Christ, you are now a woman. Like, it's a little jarring. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. And I did the same thing immediately. I was like, that's not the same actress, and did a bit of background research. And yeah, she's supposed to be 7. Yeah. She's now 10. Looks 14.
is 14.
Is for 14.
Just
All sorts of
But
confusion.
Karen Wheeler in that scene.
Yeah.
So it gets. We never got that from Karen before.
no.
Joyce, she's obviously always wanted to protect her kids,
Of course.
but so good.
She also never knows where her kids are, except for Holly.
Yeah, well, I figured out why, right? It's because she's an alcoholic. Because in every single scene, she is drinking. Every sip, she has a drink in her hand.
Here, if you were married to that man, to her husband, wouldn't you be an alcoholic?
Well, you can get away with it as long as you possibly could. He reminds me of an old newsreader that used to be on the news in Wales. He's just got that look about him, and every time I see him,
He just reminds me of just like a wet blanket. He's just there taking up space. But like, I did love the scene. I think it was episode 1. I know we switched to episode 2, where all the kids and Joyce are all at the breakfast table, and he's like, "Can someone pass the bacon?" And he's just like, I just harkened back to that previous season where he's just like, "Oh, you guys are eating out of house and home," and Dustin's like, "Okay, cool, I'll take all the bacon, all the pancakes." It's the same thing all over.
See, actually, for the next, just getting it as it goes down the table, it all gets taken.
Just gets one little piece.
Give him the flakes. Yeah. So we immediately jump into the action in episode 2. We're thrown right in there. Demogorgon is at the house, and it's a holy shit moment.
Yeah.
It really does. You think, what's going to happen here? And he just throws her across the room, and you're like, oh my God, how is this going to go down? And then her boot slips off, and she manages to escape.
Yeah, she's hanging onto like the 4 posts of the bed, just like trying to not get taken.
Where she runs to her mum, and she's like, there's a monster after me. And she's like, there's no monsters in your room. And then she sees the blood on her hand, and that's the switch, right? That's the moment.
Yeah, that's when she goes into mom mode.
Yeah, exactly. And she uses the line, which is, I'm going to write it down, stay away from my daughter, or, which is totally a throwback to Alien, get away from her, you bitch. And it's the moment, the way she does it, everything that I was just like, that's Alien. That's going away for an alien. That's so good. Or aliens.
The question I had is, how is the Demogorgon making these portals? Because wasn't that the whole thing, that the Demogorgon can't make a portal?
Yeah.
Didn't we learn that in the last few seasons?
But do we not learn that in episode 4?
But no.
There's somebody behind it. Pretty sure he holds for them.
Obviously somebody behind it, but there's no, also that someone, which we'll get to, is not with the Demogorgon as they're making the portal.
No, but they're still capable of making it. Telepathic powers and all that.
All right, fair. I guess.
I did like that, again, skipping ahead in episode 4, they skip creating the portals and just come through the metal floor.
Yes.
Yeah, well, because that's already there. That vein is already underneath.
That's what I mean. I thought that was brilliant. I was just like, why have they not been doing that from the start, like popping up with these places?
Oh yeah, exactly. Because I had the exact same thought.
Back. So we've got the wall. We find out about the wall. There's a Game of Thrones small floor.
Yeah, very. Going up to Castle Black almost.
They're literally the wall, but nobody can scale. And I'm like, when they do scale it or get over it, are they going to find that they're in the same world as Game of Thrones? And actually, they're just north of the wall.
Maybe there's a wall beyond the north.
Maybe.
And that's
maybe.
First if they cross over that wall, then they go into the north, then they cross over another wall, then they get into the 7 Kingdoms.
And then we get to Oz.
Yeah, and then we go to Oz, right? And then we just come full circle. We go from Vecna to Jon Snow to Dorothy, all in one show.
What I want to address from this episode, now, is this the episode where we flash back to Creel being in school?
No, I think that's...
That's 3.
Okay.
That's 3.
We'll come to that then. So, I'm just going through flux capacitor. Great Scott. Brilliant. Those
Scott. I loved it.
Yeah, great Scott. And then the flux capacitor conversation. The flux capacitor's not working, and that's how Robin gets her away from.
That's how Robin gets Will away to figure out that he is like an antenna.
Yes.
Now this part of it, they explain it, I feel like.
Yeah.
But I think they could have done something different. I don't know what, but I feel like they're kind of grasping at straws a little bit to kind of show that connection between Will still in the Upside Down. Like a piece of particle from the Mind Flayer stayed in him and didn't get exposed after season 2, and that's how he's still able to connect, or if it was the Demogorgon slug thing that like was in his body that he threw up in season 1. I don't know, but he explains like he didn't really feel it in California, and since he's come back, he's feeling it again.
Yeah.
But they don't really do, I think, a great job of explaining how that connection is still there. At least not up to this point. I mean, if you guys disagree, please.
No, I mean, it's hinted at obviously at the end of season 4.
Yes, they'll hint at it, right.
And so we're hinted at. So there's definitely some sort of psychic connection still there, a bridge between him and Vecna, but it's clearly only felt when he's close enough to him. And that's what I think is hinted at, is the closer he gets to him, the more that link connection.
Or that connection is there, which is why he has to go over to the school, because that's where Mr. What's-It was talking to Holly Wheeler and Delightful Derek.
Yep. Who starts off here? Chip Derek. But let's not lie, by the end of episode 4, kind of like Derek a little bit, don't you?
Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
You start off with, and then you kind of...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's Steve. It's Steve all over again.
It's a little bit of Steve. Now, he's not the kid that Billy yells at in season 2 at the pool?
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Because he yells at one heavier set kid for running around the pool. Yeah, calls him a lardass, right. Now, I thought it was the same kid, and I think it's supposed to be, but the actor playing Dipshit Derek now, this was his first acting job.
Oh, there we go. He reminds me a lot.
All right, today.
He reminds me a lot of Bad Santa. The kid from Bad
Santa. The kid in Bad Santa, yes.
That sort of...
I definitely got that vibe from him.
They can talk about him early on. And we see as that progresses, it's not always the case. But yeah, absolutely. Of course, so Derek comes into it because they realize that Derek has also seen... what's his name? Mr. What's-It, Henry, and so they decide to drug his whole family. Because at that point, Gemma says, "Where's Erica?" And she walked out to make a cup of tea and came back, and I was just like, "Here she is." Yeah,
I seen the same thing. I'm like, they have to bring her in, like Sue. Like they have to.
What is a TV show with a sassy black woman? And as I said last week, that is our Erica. And that whole set piece I thought was absolutely amazing. I loved the moment where they're choosing weapons. Steve picks out the chainsaw, and I was just like, Evil Dead, man. You just throw back again. That, yeah.
80s. He was bringing back Evil Dead.
Yep.
Definite ties to Home Alone.
Yep.
I mean, everything about that screams Evil Dead and Home Alone. I mean, Granted, like they definitely the chainsaw. He takes the axe first, and he's like, wait a minute, this is better."
Yeah,
goes over and gets it. And
that's very Evil Dead. That's the sort of way that Evil Dead plays out, and the shotguns, those sorts of things. But the way that all plays out, I think, is absolutely fantastic. And
they did. They did.
I think definitely went ahead to episode 3.
Does that happen in episode 3?
I think so.
No, I think the team splits up transporting the unconscious family to abandoned farm while Derek's house is set for a trap for the Demogorgon.
Turbo Trap is episode 3, so we did kind of skip ahead a little bit.
Did we?
Episode 2.
Is that?
We did a little bit, but I think we covered most of what happened in season 2.
Episode 2.
Episode 2, right? Sorry.
Well, but you wanted to talk about.
So episode 2, we've not got Hopper and... Oh no, hang on, there we go. Yeah, we definitely have.
Luke wants to talk about the fact that Will stood up for himself.
Yes.
He did. Finally. Yes. And that was episode 2. You're right. Mm-hmm. That was episode 2. Will finally kind of becoming part of the group again. Because I feel like he's just been like a wallflower. Mm-hmm. Almost the entire show.
Yeah.
He's just kind of in the background where really the whole show centered around him. That whole first season is finding Will.
zero evolution as a character because he's just
Zero evolution of a
a
character.
blanket the whole time.
Yep. Just trying to, bring his friends back into D&D and go back to the way things were, becoming Will the Wise, which we'll talk about soon. And then obviously his time in California with his painting and traveling back and forth. He's just kind of been a wallflower. And now finally he's like, you know what, Mom? Like, I'm a kid, but I'm not a little kid anymore. Like, I got to be involved.
Hopper addresses that when he's trying to protect Elle. He's like, no, Elle can't do these things, and I'm not taking Elle with me. Like, we had that whole conversation, and he addresses that in advance. He's like, well, would you let Will do it? Because she's almost like...
He's like, well, because you keep Will in a bubble.
Yeah. Okay, yes, so episode 3. That's where Derek comes in.
Also, season 2, episode 2 ends with us realizing Holly is actually not in like the upside down we know. She's in this fantasy house.
Yes. And we know that Henry's Henry.
But
I was hoping beyond hope that Mr. Whatsit was Eddie protecting Holly. I was really hoping, and I was let down.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping for that too. But see, here's where and maybe we're skipping it. Well, kind of, sort of. Is she in the upside down, or is she in the mind space? Because when Will paints that picture, we're kind of in episode 3 on the wall with the 12 pillars and the 3 kids. Holly is one of those kids. Mm-hmm. So I think that she is being, tentacle mouth like Will was. And she's in the mind space. She's in the mind space.
Full
of
Matrix.
Henry Creel.
Yeah.
So I still think she's in the upside down proper. I don't think there's like another dimension that looks like the 50s.
No, I think I agree with you on that. I think the Matrix effect is taking place there. She's being used as a battery for whatever.
Exactly.
Keeping her mind distracted.
He's keeping her mind active because that's how else would she interact with Max? Because Max is definitely not in the upside down. She's definitely in the hospital.
But she's in Vecna's mind. So that's what the mind space is. It's Vecna's mind because it's Vecna's memories. It's that whole thing, and that's what we learn from Max.
Right.
But yeah, so as I addressed before, Max does show up at the end of the episode. You're trying to figure out who it is. And then it steps out, and as soon as I saw the jeans, I was like, it's Max.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, it's Max. And there she is, but fully grown adult woman, Max. So every time that I've heard that she's in the new Spider-Man film, I've been like, but I don't understand why she's just a young girl. I don't understand how this is going to fit. And now all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I get it now. I get it. Like, she's actually a grown woman now.
I don't think the Max that's Holly seeing is just Vecna's memory. I think it's her consciousness.
That's what I mean. That's her consciousness inside Vecna's mind.
And that's how she was trying to escape. And she goes through that whole thing where she's being drawn to Kate Bush. And then once the tape has to get rewound is when she loses that opportunity to kind of jump back into her body from the mind space, I think.
Yeah.
And that's when she just goes around and starts to...
That's where she finds Holly.
That's where she finds Holly, yeah.
That's where she finds Holly.
Well, before we get to that which is episode 4, we were talking about the trap in episode 3.
Yes. Oh, the trap. The trap.
Mallory's keeping us on... Mallory's keeping us on... We're going off there.
I mean, you know what the problem is here is all of us watched it in effectively 1 or 2 sittings. So you don't know what's episode 1 and what's episode 4 because you're just like...
I watched from one sitting, but it was yesterday.
But I was going to say, so we watched episodes 1 through the first 20 minutes of 4 last night, and then we finished off 4 an hour ago.
We watched 1 and 2 on Wednesday and watched 3 and 4 on Thursday. So I did it.
We were still finishing season 4 for our second watch Thursday and Friday, and then we had a good friend, swim instructor from camp, hop across on Saturday, which wrote off Saturday. So yes, that's why we waited till Sunday to get into it. But again, just fired through them because they are just so good. The quality.
We just rocked through them. But the whole event of the trapping in the house was just brilliant. They like meticulously planned. It's almost like they have a diagram of the house. They had a blueprint and like, okay, like we're gonna put them in this room. If we cut out this floor, it goes right to the basement. Like it's like they almost knew. And the only person who probably would have known that is Erica. And it just again probably goes to show how smart she is. That she could literally like in her head be like, oh, that's my friend's house. I know every single layout. I will tell you exactly how to draw this on a map for you. So we know where they're probably going to come in, where you can run to, you know.
What we did miss in episode 2, we didn't talk about there, was obviously episode 2 is the episode where Elle follows the Demogorgon through the gate.
Yeah, to get Holly. And that montage of her training was just
so 80s.
Almost had like Rocky vibes to it, you know.
Yeah.
But did anyone else pick out the outfit that she was wearing?
Is it
and how similar it looked like? No, so Elle's training montage outfit.
It's the brothers out from the Goonies.
Yeah, we go, Josh Brolin.
You're right. It is totally.
It's the exact same.
So I'm only saying Thanos is going to make an appearance and take his costume back.
Yes. I think Thanos is going to snap, and that's what's going to destroy the Upside Down.
Yeah, well, might not be Thanos.
He's all about balance.
He is all about balance. He's all about balance. So that's what we see in episode 3 then, is obviously Elle is in the Upside Down. She meets up with Hopper, and the two of them actually can have...
Well, she force blasts Hopper.
Yeah, she does. We find out that they've got a weapon that hurts Elle, that stops Elle from being able to use her powers. We find
it's some type of like sonic, like subsonic audio.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's almost similar to like a dog whistle. I feel like that can only affect powered people.
Yeah,
you know, because Hopper isn't affected by, nobody else is, just her.
And how good is that scene where Hopper takes out the Special Forces team? And I have issues with it. I have issues with they are a Special Forces team, and yet Hopper's just like, I'm going to throw 2 hand grenades over there.
This probably what, mid to late 40s, relatively out of shape, spent almost a year in a Russian prison, just was like, all right, grenades.
What we're seeing though as well with Hopper, I think, is the evolution of Hopper from Hopper police officer to Red Guardian. And I mean, in this, there's very Red Guardian guy vibes coming through from him. I love that scene.
The beard as well, yeah.
That scene in particular where he's sort of just laughing as he violently blows people up and shoots people and things.
When he said Miami Vice in the first episode, weren't you immediately thinking Red Guardian?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And the beard.
Yes, the beard.
Yeah, absolutely. So we see them trying to figure out what the wall is and a way through the wall. Elle's using her powers, but it's not affecting the wall in any way, shape, or form. And then this is where we learn about Henry's plans for Holly, or not plans for Holly. We don't really know. Why is he being nice?
I thought it was interesting about episode 3 with Henry and Holly is that he gave her the Tiffany cassette and the boombox.
And the boombox, yeah.
The music. I said the same thing to Gemma when we watched it. Why?
Yeah.
Which makes me think that because it's been well established that music ties you to, you know, it grounds you. That's why Max is always playing Kate Bush and everything else. You know, even
it's how Will
the I Dream the Dream song.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's how Will survived.
Yeah, it's how Will survives as well by him singing
Should I
Shall I Go? Yeah. Which makes me think that are we going to see a Vecna redemption? Is he finally figured out that he can take on the Mind Flayer and destroy the Mind Flayer once and for all and go back to being just a normal guy? Or maybe not for himself.
Are we going to see a Henry versus Vecna battle? The two sides. Is there Henry? And is that why we got that moment where we clearly saw Joyce handing out flyers to the show in the main.
Yeah, to the show,
Yeah.
to Oklahoma, which plays a prominent role in the play.
Yeah. But it says at the bottom of the flyer that Henry is one of the leads in it. Now, here's the question. That means that Joyce and Steve's dad, and we assume Hopper, because he was in school at the same time as them, all knew.
And he's on the flyer.
Yeah, he's on the flyer. He's playing a character. Yeah. James Hopper. Yeah, they all knew him.
So they all knew Creel.
Yeah.
So why has this never been mentioned before? How has this never come up in conversation?
Well, let's say. Go ahead. No, go.
Hugo.
No, it's fine.
No, you go. You go.
So he was taken as a child by Papa.
Yep.
So how
But
could he
his
be in
dad thinks he's dead. When they speak to his dad in the prison, his dad thinks he's dead because he went into a coma and then he never saw him again. His dad genuinely believes he's dead. He thinks he lost all 3 of his family members. He doesn't know that his son was the demon.
So how could he be in school but he was taken into custody?
Exactly my thought. My thought.
Mallory, have you seen the play?
No.
So this is where I have some issue with Stranger Things season 5, because if you haven't seen the play, a lot of this stuff doesn't make sense to you.
Okay.
So Henry Creel is like a freshman or a sophomore when his family moves to Hawkins from like Utah or Arizona. And that's when his parents buy that house, the fancy house with the rose paint stained glass door. They go through about a semester of school. So this is like the winter play, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And and on the night of the play, or the night after I think the play happens, is when Henry Creel kills his parents. Well, kills his mother. And
so I read stuff on
But that's not what they showed in the show, though. In the show, he's much younger than freshman.
Yeah. In the show, they show him as being much younger, but in the play, he's probably a freshman in high school, whereas Joyce and Jim and those people are all like junior or seniors in high school at that point. So Henry Creel is actually younger than them by a couple of years, and he befriends Patty Newby, who is Bob Newby's little sister, and he ends up hurting her some way the night of the play. And that's when he kind of like lets the mind flayer take control of his body. And that's after, and why he kills his mom and sister, again, in the play, spoilers, whatever, is he hears her on the phone with Dr. Brenner saying, "You can take this kid and throw away the key."
Yeah.
And it's that night where he kills his mom and his sister, and would have killed his father, but his father was listening to the I Dream a Dream song or whatever on the radio, and he comes back into his body. And then because he used so much of that power,
he collapses.
He ends up passing out, but dad doesn't know. And then Brenner comes in and takes him.
Didn't they show that in season 4 already?
Yeah, they showed it in season 4, but with a much younger Creel. So what it seems like they're trying to do is they're trying to use the play to fill plot holes that they know are there.
Correct. So they use the play to fill that gap. Because I feel like if you haven't seen the play, there are aspects of the show, at least that part of it, that are hard to decipher.
Yeah, without entirely,
at least making a synopsis of it.
Yeah, I was going to say not hard to decipher, impossible to decipher, because they've changed the age of Creel.
Yes, they changed the age.
Because in fact, you probably get the Creel is 8 or 9 from season 4.
Exactly, when it's really not the case. He's probably more like 13.
Yeah,
in the play, because his parents move in like the summer before high school. And he goes to high school, and that's where he meets Joyce and Jim. But they don't really hang out. They're just in the play.
Yeah.
And the only reason why he jumps into the play is because of Patricia Newby, who's Bob's little sister, who's I think a sophomore or something. So she's still a year ahead of him. And that's kind of how everything happens. And then after he kills his family, Brenner finds him at the hospital and takes him over to the Hawkins Lab Institute.
So here's another issue I have with this. There's no way high school Jim Hopper is in a play.
They kind of explain that because he wasn't in. They
I was going to say, no way at all. Would you see Jim Hopper in the play?
In the first Shadow Broadway show, Joyce has to like convince him to join the play, and she like offers to buy him like 2 packs of smokes or something like that in order to get him, because if not, then they're not going to have this main character or whatever. Like there is, but I agree with you. Like Jim Hopper, you know,
not happening.
Definitely not happening.
Okay. Back to episode 3, not the play. Episode 3 of season 5. That's also where we see Holly exploring the house. Now, I think that this scout neckerchief is going to have a huge play as we go through this. They've spent so much time focusing on it and her putting it on and still wearing it. You know, I think it has to be, that's going to be something that's going to flip a switch for a character somewhere.
Well, it's the same shape as what Will drew and where all the kids are kept.
Oh, okay. I didn't pick that up, but now you've said it, I can see it in my mind. Yep.
Yeah.
So
are you referring to also the teacher who describes the Einstein-Rosen bridge?
No.
Oh, so yeah,
you guys not clock?
Yeah, no. When they go to get Erica from the class, and he asks the question, the AV, the guy that's in charge of the AV room in the first few seasons, is teaching Erica about Einstein-Rosen bridges, and I love that moment when he asks the question, and she's got her hand up, and he's just like, anybody, please, anybody else, like not you again, and then Erica, she nails the answer. Yes, you're right. Because the same shape as well.
It's the same shape from that too. All those things are all kind of the same. Yeah, they're all kind of the same shape.
Interesting.
So is he talking about time travel?
Is he talking about time travel? Is that what he's trying to
do? We're talking about time travel because the Upside Down is 4 years behind Hawkins.
Yeah, but the Upside Down is not just 4 years behind Hawkins. It's set on the day that Will was first taken.
Right.
So it's on a specific day.
It's not like moving in time. It's just set on that day, isn't it?
No, right. But he's literally 4 years behind where we are.
Yeah.
Which is what they keep talking about.
I think that's episode 3.
That's episode 3.
Yeah, it is episode. Yeah.
And then episode 4. The episode, the one that it builds to. We all knew it was coming, and repeatedly throughout the episode, I wanted to just press the button just to see how long was left, because they kept setting up cliffhangers. They kept setting them up, and then you'd be like, oh no, we're going to keep going. I did think Joyce was going to get it at one point. I did think when she steps up the vent, I was like, she's going to die here.
When she stepped up to the Demogorgon, I'm like, this might be it.
I was almost disappointed when she didn't, if that makes sense, because I was like, that would have been so impactful, and that probably would have pushed along what happens after that.
Agreed. I think that would have been a different kind of spark.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I don't think they can leave Will and Jonathan parentless.
Lonnie's not a parent?
You both just talked at the same time. I have no idea what either one of you said.
Go on, Leach.
I don't know.
I think Will would be fine. Jonathan, not so sure. But I feel like what I was.
It's a horrible ring to propose with.
Right?
He's got no money. Come on. And this is hard times. Murray has to like sneak this stuff in, like doing like grocery raids and stuff.
I think it's brilliant, by the way, the way that they've kept Murray in it. This idea that everybody's now trapped and quarantined in Hawkins, but Murray is the delivery driver who gets to come in and he bring all these things. But yeah, and that's where you see old Dustin, is when Dustin and Murray have that conversation where he's like, I bet you spark plug, and he's like, I asked for, and you see Dustin go, sorry, thank you.
Thank you, spark plug.
Yeah.
Although I think my favorite moment is Steve ripping out all the stuff out of the Squawk Mobile. And then he's like, you're right. We don't need all of that stuff. All we need is the antenna. Let me borrow that drill real quick. And then just completely defaces Steve's Beamer.
Yeah.
It made me cry a little bit. It did. Because that's a nice car.
But it's also very Dustin.
Very Dustin, but I just want to establish. Oh yeah, very Dustin and Steve. Just want to establish though. I think they changed the Beamer because I think this was the first time that you've seen Steve drive stick, and he's had that same car, and I don't think it's been. I don't think it's been a manual.
Okay.
The whole show. It makes sense for the time, but I do think that they, for whatever reason, I just maybe to add a little more drama to it to see him actually shifting. Yeah, I just want to throw that out there too. As something I noticed.
So in this episode, we see Hopper and Elle, after interrogating the guard, the guy that they've captured, they go and do this whole raid on the base, and we get to see Elle be pretty kick-ass, superhero-esque. She does her jump, she slides about, slides up and down the windows, does all of those sorts of things. And it's a pretty cool moment because you get to see that moment where, Hopper almost, he's like, "You're good."
Yeah, he's just resigned to the fact that it's like, you know what, he goes, I cannot do this by myself. I need you because of your abilities. For a hot second, when she's like preparing, and she's like, "Oh, I can time it with the thunder." And she took off her shoes. I'm like, why the hell is she taking off her shoes? And then once she landed on the glass roof, I'm like, that's why she's trying to be quiet. And it's like, no, that makes sense.
Yeah. At that moment where she jumps and Hopper's like, she's not going to make it. She jumps and she hangs on, and then the guard looks over the edge and she just a twitch, and there goes his neck. You're just like, something savage inside her as well.
That's straight out of season 1.
Yeah, but this is it. She's learned from Henry, you're right, and she's also been raised in a world without compassion, so she doesn't have the thought, maybe, which will be interesting as we move forward. So yeah,
that's straight out of season 1 now. Yeah, she did the same thing in Benny's Burger. She did the same thing when you see her in Hawkins' lab when she's trying to get put into that like box room or whatever.
Was it episode 2 or 3 where they have the fight with the guards we were just talking about? But at the moment where she bounces the guy off the car, and then he goes to get up and she swings the door into his head, you're like, that is brilliant. That's some clever stuff.
That was episode 3. That was episode 3. That's when they were trying to like do the wall, and and the guy that they end up interrogating is the guy that she swings the door and smacks him in the head.
Yeah. What did you think about the reveal there?
Which one?
The Hopper and Elle reveal. The reveal.
So I was not expecting it to be 8.
I called it.
But also, why? Like she comes from the most like hated episode. Every fan hated that episode, and now she's back. Like, why?
For me,
I'm sure it's going to be.
Has a affordability.
Well, I know logically why they need her, but why did it have to be her? Why have to be somebody else?
For the Dark World, right? The Thor that nobody likes, but is really important when it comes to the Infinity Stones. It's like that moment where they're like, "Oh, we have to go back to it. It was there for a reason." Now, I'm with you, though, Mallory. I don't see how her powers fit into this. I don't see what her powers have to do with any of this in the Upside Down, because her powers aren't that psychic control. Her powers are to make you think you're somewhere else, see things that you don't.
Right, and that's why I think she's teamed up. She's under the control. Somehow they got to 8 somehow. And I think Vecna got to 8 first. And I think Vecna, what we've learned is that Vecna can kind of absorb the powers of other people. It's like he's kind of taken some of Elle's powers with being able to open up gates and stuff like that, because only she could do that. And I think that he somehow got her power, which is how he's using the mindscape for Holly and the other kids to create that like 1950s thing. And then somehow when he was done with her, he just left her. Then the army were like, okay, like here's another power person. Let's just like keep her in suspended animation because she might become useful or something. Or she's another. We can't get to 11, so let's figure out if we can use her. Figure out what she does. But I also think it comes back to the critical hit theory that's been floating around.
Yeah. I think she's there to fill a plot hole. I think when it comes to the final battle, she'll do something somehow that'll have an impact on how it plays out. But where I was here, I was almost disappointed. I was hoping I was actually at that point hoping it was going to be Vecna, and that they'd had Vecna trapped there, and they thought they were in control.
Well, we're kind of alluding to
the whole thing. But yeah, I was a little bit disappointed. Or even Owens. It'd have been nice to see Owens.
Yeah, I thought Owens was a possibility. I think that could have been cool. But are you aware of the critical hit theory?
No, go for it.
Things. So the critical hit theory is in D&D.
Episode 1, they roll.
Well, no, just
as they don't get it. That's the whole point, isn't it? Is they go for the
right. That's the whole point. But the whole point is to roll. The whole point's to roll a 20. That is a critical hit in D&D. You have 11 plus 8 is 19.
Mm-hmm.
What are you missing? You're missing 1. Now, for a lot of people, 1 is Henry or Vecna. Mm-hmm. I think it's different. I mean, one Henry and Vecna are the same thing, yes, but I think that Henry created a new number 1 in Will. I think
I can see where that's going. I can see where that's going. Will's going to make it up, or is Will really the big bad behind it all the whole time, and they need Vecna to take out Will?
No, I mean no, silly no.
We'll be talking.
I mean, that would be a hell of a twist. Like, I mean, that would be an expense by twist anything. Mallory definitely crying.
Oh yeah.
But no, I think that because Vecna. I mean, we kind of jumped to this part, or I've kind of jumped to it. He says, "You were the first." When Vecna is like making Will levitate, he goes, "You were the first one, and you showed me what I could do," and that's alluding to the fact that he's taking other kids. So that, in my head, burned in. Will is now the new number 1. Plus 11 plus 8 equals 20. Critical hit on the upside down.
Okay,
that's what I think.
Okay. I think that conversation was interesting to me, but it still leaves so much hanging in the air, because he does say to him, "You were the first. You showed me what I can do, but you weren't strong enough. Basically, you weren't good enough for me."
I don't understand why he's taking all the kids. Like, I know he kind of explained it. I don't get it.
No, I don't think it's been explained. We know that they've got this. Will explains that he's got this idea, but nobody knows what it is.
He's like talking about how like weak they are
and how he can break their minds. So I think his idea is he takes them, infects their minds like he did Will's, and then sends them back out into the world, and that allows him to have 12 of Vecna's out in the world that he can control and he can manipulate. And he says, he does say to Will, though, that your mind is not good for this world. It's suited to mine. You know, it's something along those lines is what he says to him. And then Will has his moment, his breakout moment, his second breakout moment of the season.
Yeah.
Wait, before we get to his breakout moment, can we talk about Vecna's glow up?
Yeah, so why is Vecna now Groot?
Steph said the same thing. You literally just went, "I am Vecna."
I had a thought. So obviously Vecna's not he's created by the Upside Down, but he's not created in the Upside Down. Because obviously Henry, who then became Vecna.
Right.
So my thinking was the longer he spends in the Upside Down, the more Upside Down he becomes.
Maybe.
I mean, I'm with you, but he's been in the Upside Down for what?
Sorry, between him going to the Upside Down, which is literally episode 1, season 1, and us seeing him for the first time in season 4, it's only been like 4 years.
No, he's been there longer. So the thing that happens,
been there longer because
it's not the night she escapes. That happens before that.
Yeah, that happens later. So I think she's like probably she's like 8 or 9 years old when she sends Henry into the Upside Down, and then she's the only person at Hawkins' lab for a couple of years, and then she escapes.
And that's why, because she does that, and that's where they learn that she can open these doors, and then Papa keeps her to keep opening the doors.
I think she opens the door the first time
when she sends Vecna through,
like 1979 or 1980, and she doesn't escape until 1983.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, I think my point still stands. Like, the more time he spends in the Upside Down, I don't care if it's 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, whatever. The more time he spends in the upside down, I think the more upside down he becomes, and that's why I think he had the glow up.
Going back to what
Right.
you said, though, I don't think the Mind Flayer is the big bad. I still think Vecna is the big bad. I think Vecna is controlling the Mind Flayer, and we see that he's definitely controlling the Demogorgons. Like, he's in control of those. And I think he's controlling, and especially when you think back to season 4 and we see him go there for the first time, the Mind Flayer is just happily floating away in the sky. It's got
He
no
gives it.
building
He
head.
gives it a form.
Yeah.
But the Mind
he
Flayer
stirs
is
it
who.
up.
Yeah, he stirs it up, but the Mind Flayer is the one that, again, you learn this in the play, which again, without
Mhm.
that's where I'm a little annoyed with the Duffer Brothers, because for those people, which is I would say the vast majority of Stranger Things fans, if you've not seen the play, it's kind of hard, especially now, to understand what's happening. But Henry Creel is taken in by the Mind Flayer when he comes to Hawkins. In like that, he was already a weird kid when they moved to Hawkins, and then he gets infected by a Mind Flayer.
But again,
And that's when all this stuff happens.
Rewriting plot, because that is
It could just be them rewriting the plot. It could be. I don't know.
Or are we going to find out at the end of it all that the play was actually just a fictional thing that Vecna, Henry Creel set up? Do they play that game? It was all a dream the whole time, just to make more money.
Yeah, they could do that. I mean, they have said that it's canon,
Mhm.
Timeline canon, but
Or
we've seen people do other things before.
are we doing the full reset? Is it going to end?
Yeah, listen.
Is it going to end with an Einstein-Rosen bridge, Henry Creel going through and deciding that he's not going to kill his parents and he's going to live his life out? And so it goes back to him being young Henry Creel, and then 4 years later, it all happens anyway. When he's in high school.
Yeah, I mean, that could be,
when he knows Jim.
I mean, listen, you're talking that, you're straight up talking Terminator.
Mhm.
Sarah Connor and
we
T2
know how referenced Terminator has been. We know
how referenced it's been. So she prevents Judgment Day, and it happens anyway.
Yeah.
Could be the same thing.
Could be.
And that's a way for them to continue with the Stranger Things lore and universe and have it kind of separated away.
For the extent they like to come back and do a 90s one.
Which would
some of the kids have said they'd like to give it 10 years and come back and do a 90s one or something. And you're like, that would be great. That
would be great.
That'd be a fun time to go through. Okay, so yeah, basically what happens, episode 4, Will's guys, they great escape it. They dig a tunnel. Tom, Dick, and Harry, they go for Dick, which is ironic because I love the way that Robin keeps on saying that she's called.
That's
brilliant. And it all falls to ship. And you just think, how are they going to get out of this? How are they going to get out of this? And then they don't. They sort of get captured. And then Vecna makes his glow-up appearance. It's, I am Vecna. I like that. Instead of I am Groot, I am Vecna, as he just goes through shooting his tree roots into people and doing all sorts. I did think straight away, I was just like, why? When did Groot show up? Like, when did Diesel come part of Stranger Things?
Yeah. Yeah, I was half expecting Vin Diesel to show up just for that moment.
And of course, it all leads then to Will's moment, where he saves everybody and he realizes, Robin's speech about being gay actually turns into Robin's speech about being a superhero.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, but can we also just rewind just like 30 seconds? The whole conversation that Vecna has with Will. I don't know if you guys picked this up, but I picked it up. I don't know if it means anything, but whenever Vecna had Chrissy or had Max or had the other kid that hangs out with Nancy, the journalist guy, I don't remember his name. Whenever he did the whole bone snapping death eye situation, he always did it with his Groot hand. Mm-hmm. He always did it with that big claw hand, not his kind of more normal, still Vecna, humanish hand though. But when he does the whole levitation thing with Will, he's holding his face with his more normal human hand. Do you think that has any significance? Maybe that was his way of like almost, because he almost like has his hand like behind his neck, and Will always is going that spot behind his neck. Do you think that was maybe like Vecna hitting like the on switch for him instead of doing like the killing with his group hands?
I think Vecna hitting the on switch for him is when Vecna basically says, "I realized what I could do with you, but you weren't good enough to do it."
I mean, yeah, okay, that's probably that. Yeah,
Yeah, and I think he uses that hand simply because his other hand is what he uses to suck life out of people. It's almost like, I don't want to use that one. That's the Hoover. That'll suck the life out of you. I better use the other hand. But that moment and the way that he takes out the Demogorgons, you know, the way that he does it in the exact same
Vecna the Demogorgons.
Pretty awesome moment. Yeah.
So good with the white eyes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. 3 all at the same time.
Yeah.
Detective
You
Mike.
see the one and you see the two, and then you're like, oh, so is Rob?
Yeah, where's the third one? Yeah, because he's got 2 hands.
Yeah.
Where's the third one?
And he just does it. And yep. And then the whole snapping and stuff. And yeah. How long have we got to wait? 23 days?
I know. 25th. I think it's the 25th. I thought it was Christmas Eve. It's actually Christmas Day, which makes me that much more upset.
It's Christmas Day. So it's Christmas Day for you guys, which means it'll be Boxing Day for us.
It would be Boxing Day for you because it's 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
On
So
25th. So yes, Boxing Day for y'all in the UK.
Okay.
And then with the final episode,
New Year's Eve
being New Year's Eve. Also, I think at 8 p.m. So it's going to be New Year's Day for.
It'll be when we're kicking everybody out of the house if we've had people over for a party. So it'll be the ideal time to sit and watch it live. Of course, three things.
New Year's Day.
Oh yeah, what time? It'll be way into New Year's Day for you.
So I'm gonna watch the Christmas ones while I'm there. I'd probably be on Boxing Day, but I have agreed to wait for the New Year's one.
Oh, okay. Why? Any particular reason?
No particular reason.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll just leave it at that then.
All right. I mean, I'm not sure if you're telling us 100% the truth. That's okay. We'll let it slide.
No reason at all. So yeah, we've got the titles are Shock Jock. So I feel like that's going to be a Robin centric one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Escape from Camazotz,
which is from A Wrinkle in Time, right?
Yeah.
The book.
Right.
Yeah.
So that obviously means that come episode 7, Max should be free.
I would love it.
Yeah. That episode is directed by Sean Levy. So obviously we know Sean Levy has directed loads of things since.
Yeah, he's directed loads of episodes as well.
Yeah, but since he's directed things, he's done loads of films and works quite a lot with Ryan Reynolds. Frank Darabont is directing the episode before that, Shock Jock. The man that directed Green Mile.
I was going to say Green Mile. Yes, it's Green Mile.
Okay. Yeah. So he's directing that. And then the Duffer Brothers and Sean Levy for episode 7, and just the Duffer Brothers for episode 8. And the 7's called The Bridge and 8 is called The Right Side Up.
Yeah, I mean, and they've said that that volume 2 is going to really explain what the Upside Down is.
Okay.
And we're going to learn more about the Upside Down in the next 3 episodes than we've ever known before.
Yeah.
We've watched 4 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen how things are progressing.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to take new guesses as to who's going to die?
Well, I just want to establish that I did predict Will being a cleric and casting. I said a protection spell. It kind of was a protection spell. Granted, he did do some murdering of some Demogorgons, but he did protect his people. So I just want to say that my prediction was right last week. Think that out there.
That is true. You can have your snap.
Can I get my gold star now?
Yeah. Will's going to die.
No.
Will's going to die.
No.
Okay, well, they're definitely setting up for either Steve or Dustin to die because they keep snipping at each other. So they're gonna have a death that it's an unresolved fight.
Right. I'm going to do something that I hate doing here, right? But I'm going to reference Lord of the Rings.
Hold on. Let me get ready for this.
A banner moment. But the orc and the elf have the exact same relationship. But the dwarf and the elf,
Gimli and Legolas.
yeah, exact same relationship where they are constant in competition with each other and sniping at each other, and the best of friends. And
Yeah.
So no, I think Will. I think more so now after watching that episode, Will is going to die, or Will is going to be the person that sacrifices himself to save Elle, so Elle can continue to live his life. But that also would mean that he gives Mike, who he's clearly in love with. I sort of felt that, but we're really at that point now. But that will give Mike the best thing that he could ever give Mike, which is Elle.
Okay, so you're going with Will dies.
Yep.
Mel?
I'm still going with Steve. I still think it's Steve. It's going to break my heart if it's true. But also, you guys made some good points about Jonathan last week, especially with the engagement ring. It almost makes me want to switch to Jonathan, but I'm sticking with Steve.
I do think if Jonathan dies, Steve uses that ring to propose.
I literally took
Beamer money.
well, no, ring. He's
it's
not
about the fact that the two of them together are her perfect man. It's finding that balance. Yeah.
I'm sticking with Jonathan, and I'm of one or two paths. I'm of the Max path that he just mentioned, that Jonathan finds the ring, or no, Steve finds the ring and proposes to Nancy. I'm also of the mind that Nancy finds the ring on Jonathan's corpse, and Steve and her don't get together because she feel like it would be, like, for lack of a better term, crapping on Jonathan's memory if she was to do that. But I still do think that Jonathan dies. I do think that Steve lives on. And him and Dustin start a private detective agency because Steve needs another job. He needs another job. Scoops Ahoy, burnt down.
Yeah.
Video store, I don't know what happened to that. And now he's working at the radio station. And he wants to have it.
I can tell you what happened to the video store. So in season 4...
Okay, we know what happens at the video store.
No. But in season 4, they were in the video store and they're doing the phone around looking for Eddie, right?
Yeah.
But they walk in and they say, you can't use the phones. It's a Saturday. It's our busiest night of the week. And then about 40 minutes after that, they leave and close up the store. So they were fired. I can confirm they were fired for closing the video store on a Saturday to go find a suspected murder.
At like 5:00 in the evening.
It's still light when they leave.
Yeah.
Both of you guys cannot be right, because there's no way they're going to kill Will and Jonathan and leave poor Joyce.
Will lives. I think Will lives. I think if they're going to, I don't think they're going to kill Hopper because they already tried to kill him once. I don't think they're going to do that to us again.
Say that right now. Hopper's dead. Hop's dead.
I don't think they're going to kill Hopper. I think if we're picking one character to die, there could be others, but I'm sticking with Jonathan. I do think that Jonathan dies. And I think that Will is now strong enough that although he will be devastated, it won't necessarily break him like maybe it would have in season 2.
I think Will does the Iron Man. He makes the sacrifice play. He lays down on the barbed wire. And now I'm not saying that he dies. What I'm saying is does he then become a protector? Does he go into the upside down and almost...
So become the gatekeeper instead of Elle?
Instead of Elle. And that's what I'm saying is if he becomes the gatekeeper, he is there protecting the world, and he knows a world that he can't be happy in, because let's not lie, being gay in the 80s wasn't a really cool thing. He's got a long period of really horrid times.
Any significant time there.
And he gives Mike Elle and gives her the chance to live. His mum knows that he's there. He's not really dead, he's just there, sort of thing. And Jonathan gets to go off and live his life as a mopey, whingy,
With
mopey... No, with Steve and Nancy again together.
No, that's not happening.
Would it not be funny if Jonathan and Steve found a love in each other and it ended up with Nancy being left all alone?
I think Nancy ends up with Dustin.
Yeah.
So somebody I know is putting Nancy up to die.
Yeah. which might make sense. That might make sense, you know. Saving Holly. Yeah,
I don't see it.
we did see in episode 4. We saw Mike, a bit of a hero come out in Mike, where he's trying to flip the kids. Yeah, and Lucas. I think it's always been there in Lucas. We've seen it a few times, but I don't think we've ever really seen it in Mike. So it was good.
Definitely seen it in Lucas, like when he's defending Max in the Creel's attic, fighting that jock Jason dude.
Yeah,
and like kicking the crap out of him after getting the crap kicked out of himself. But he was the perfect choice to be chased by the Demogorgon, because he's like the only one that showed any kind of athletic ability outside of Steve. He did play basketball. He was on the bench, but he did play. So outside of Steve, he's the only one that can maybe run laps. So he's the one that can
makes sense.
Get chased by a Demogorgon. But I don't know. I think it had some ups and downs. The first 4 episodes. I wouldn't say that it was brilliant 10 out of 10. I do think actually it's been rated on Rotten Tomatoes or somewhere. Actually, the lowest first 4 episodes of Stranger Things since season
Rotten
2.
Tomatoes. I just checked Rotten Tomatoes.
It's not Rotten Tomatoes? Okay, so
we've recorded, so it's 90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It is 90%. Okay.
Yeah, season 4 finished at 89% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
Let's not lie. I've seen some negative things out there about it, and I'm probably more frustrated and negative about it if everything that you've said about the plays turns out to be correct. If it turns out to be what we've just speculated there, and it becomes that Sarah Connor, it's going to happen anyway type moment, I'm all for it. I think that's fantastic. Yeah. And I think what that does is that gives the play life.
It gives yes, it would give the play
dies as soon as the season finishes.
But then they should have released like a professional version of it, so everyone could have watched it before.
I agree.
But because it makes me think it ties better at the end. It ties better as a companion piece that comes at the end. That reset, Sarah Connor-esque, Terminator-esque reset of he gets out and goes back in time or whatever, or he gets banished in time.
Yeah, I think in your scenario with a Terminator scenario, I do think it works, because if that doesn't happen, there's going to be a lot of pissed off fans, because then it makes the play that much more important, which is the same problem that Marvel got into. Not to get into that topic, but same problem that Marvel got into about connecting all the Disney Plus shows. And if you didn't watch those, you're going to be lost in the movies, or if you didn't see the movie, you'd be lost in the show. And they almost connected it too much, whereas too much content. And at least with the shows, you were able to stream it. You were able to find it. Yeah. If you had Disney Plus, you could watch it if you wanted to. With the show, unless you're on Broadway, or I think they had it on the West End as well, and probably
it's not long open to the West End.
Right, it's not long open, so it's not like it's been out for like the first Shadow's been out for like over a year on Broadway, and I think it ends in January. Actually,
I hate how you say Broadway.
Broadway?
The Broadway.
The Broadway.
It's the West
End. It's small for the West End.
Maybe.
Broadway?
Well, you have to be posh to go to the Broadway.
All right. So, are you keeping with who you think's going to die, Mallory?
Yes. Yeah. You guys are wrong.
Okay.
And listeners at home, tell us who you think's going to die. Put that comment in there. Hit that subscribe button.
Send a video.
Send us an email.
What did you think of the first 4 episodes? Let us know. Send us a video, and we will put together a group of videos from people saying what they thought about episodes 1 through 4 of season 5 so far, along with your predictions of who's going to die. And I'm sure we can arrange some sort of sweepstakes for it. Maybe you can win a free pencil.
Yes. A number 2.
A number 2 pencil.
Or maybe a number 11 pencil, if they make
there we go. I like that. Maybe a set of pencils, a 1, an 8, and an 11.
There we go.
Okay. That was us this week. It was an entirely Stranger Things centric episode with a slight tangent at the start, but all right, that's okay. We know that how you feel about Star Trek and Lego. So when those two things combine, I genuinely thought that story was going to end with you not getting one, and then you're like, so I got one.
But well, there is. They also did have a a contest, which I think just closed yesterday. To if you had to give up some Lego points. I think it was like 200 Lego points if you have like a profile with them, which of course I do. So does Steph. To submit for 200 points, for a raffle to get the Enterprise set signed by none other than Jonathan Frakes, aka Commander William Riker.
Yeah.
Picard's number one.
So the video that I'd seen was him playing with the Lego.
Oh, was him playing with it? Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's all over social media.
Yeah, so they apparently have a signed one of his. They have one signed copy of William Riker. Jonathan Frakes. That one lucky winner will get that set as well.
There we go, Mallory. Spend your Lego points on that.
I didn't know there were Lego points.
No, me either until this point.
Points for everything.
There is points. There's points for everything. There is points for everything. I definitely
Some credit card points.
Yeah, definitely points for everything these days. Okay, thank you very much for listening to episode 18 of Not Great Nerds. We're now old enough to drink, in the UK at least.
In the UK.
So please like, subscribe, do all of those things. And goodbye from me, and goodbye from them.